Attorney General Eric Holder and FBI Director James Comey are up in arms over Apple's new iPhone. Now, they say the phone's security system is so secure that law enforcement will not be able to break into it in order to catch criminals. But don't our rights to privacy trump the government's desire to snoop? John Tamny, what do you think?
Absolutely they do. Our pursuit of happiness implies a right to privacy, and I think if Apple were to do this, they would certainly lose their cool factor if so. But there's also an economic story behind this. The great investor Ken Fisher always points out that technology will always be faster than will politicians be. And so it's an exciting economic development that we can possibly innovate our way around the feds and the barriers they put up to growth. If Apple gives in, that sends a very chilling message that will not help the economy.
Well, Rick, I'm inclined to agree with John, but just to give law enforcement their due, Chicago's chief of detectives says the following about what will happen. Apple will become the phone of choice for the pedophile. He's saying because of the fact that all the bad guys, pedophiles and the rest, will be able to secure all their information about their illegal doings.
That's obviously very disturbing. Look, this is a tough one. And I think that, you know, the FBI might want to go have a chat with the NSA because it was their behavior that led to companies like Apple taking a step like this. I see law enforcement's point of view. I do. I also worry about people who are in some trouble who could be tracked down otherwise, now won't be able to be tracked down. But this has to be solved through an understanding of when it is legal to monitor innocent people's phones and when it isn't.
But, Steve, it's more than just the NSA. It's the people who've been hacked into, who had their naked pictures stolen. I mean, there's an outcry for security among consumers. Doesn't the First Amendment provide us with that right to security?
Yes, it does, David, but in this case, I guarantee you hackers in China and Russia probably already broken into the system. And there ought to be a golden key. I hate to say it, but there are times when you need, with a search warrant, to get information about potential terrorist acts or criminal acts.
Let me just describe, by the way, when he says golden key, what that is a backdoor to the software that it would allow law enforcement to get into these devices. Steve, you think that's a good idea?
It's going to happen, David. All you need is one terrorist act, and I guarantee it's going to be forced by law. So they ought to figure this out in advance. Where you have proper search warrants, you cannot go in without a proper search warrant. No fishing expeditions. But you can't have a super secure system because the bad guys will get into it, and then law enforcement will say when a terrorist act occurs, we couldn't track the bad guys.
Emac, some of the people in government are bad guys, and frankly, and we were just talking about the dysfunctionality of government. I'm not sure I want them to have a back door into my secure phone.
Well, the joke is, if you want to find the IRS emails, just go look in the Apple iCloud. No, I'm just kidding. But
actually, there's a little truth to that. Go ahead.
But that is my point. You can get at this information in the cloud. You can get a warrant for the information in the cloud. I think what's going to happen is there will be a backdoor built into Apple and all these secure systems. I mean, let's face it, the telecoms have been allowing wiretapping for years with regular old rotary phones. This will not stand. I don't think this will stand.
But, Rich, I don't like it that government officials are now blaming the private sector for doing something that consumers want. In fact, the FBI director said, and I'm quoting him here, Apple's market is trying to market something expressly to allow people to place themselves beyond the law. He's taken aim directly at Apple.
Yeah, I just bought an Apple iPhone 6 last week, and I don't like being the implicit accusation of being a criminal or having dark motives for buying it. But look, I think that in a real world, Rick and Steve are right. You know, civil liberties is a great value. I don't think it can be as absolute as John wants it to be. In World War I and World War II, we, gave up some civil liberties to try to win a war. Did we overdo it in some cases, like interning Japanese Americans in World War II? Yes. But look, it's a dangerous world out there, so I have some sympathy for the FBI and NSA.
Yeah, well, frankly, I think it was wrong to intern Japanese, but I want to get back to the Constitution, John Tamny, because the Second Amendment, we have a Second Amendment, allows us to keep guns. Now, could we use guns to commit murder? Yes, but do we have the right to keep guns to protect ourselves? Absolutely. And I think it's the same with privacy, don't you?
I think so, and I want to ask the question, how much are you willing to give up in terms of privacy so that you can feel secure from government? My argument here is that the only insecurity out there is that which is created by government. That's what creates paralysis, not us living freely.
We got to leave that as the last word. Thank you, gang. Coming up.
What is a bigger threat to world peace, America or ISIS?
To world peace? Well, America.
Oh, yeah. That guy's a Harvard student, by the way, and he's not the only one saying it. The Cash and In crew getting ready to school those Ivy League kids. But first, say it ain't so. More schools saying sayonara to swing sets. How tort lawyers are making it a lot harder for our kids just to be kids.